Howdy y'all, Fast Forwards 289. So tonight we're going to be installing some new spark plug wires on my car, my 68 Fairlane, and also some new wire looms, but we're also going to be customizing the wires, cutting them to the length that I want, and I got some special pliers for that I'm going to be showing y'all. So let's get over to the workbench and let's take a look at what we got. Alright, so now that we got our tools out to do the spark plug wires in the custom length that we need. I got these spark plug wires here. They're Taylor's, and they're pretty good spark plug wires. I think I like the blue on them. Eventually, I'm going to end up painting the engine in my car black, so the blue will be a good contrast. But either way, even with the engine being blue, I think these blue wires will look very nice. But the problem is, for one, it has this style of end on it that goes onto the spark plug wire, and I don't really care for these straight ends that stick out of the motor like that. And it's not going to work because I have these that I'm going to put on my valve cover. These bolt down to your valve cover, and then you can run your wires through here, and it runs it along the side of the valve cover. So your valve cover is at an angle in the car, right? You bolt this down and it runs it parallel with the valve cover. So instead of it being in the engine bay, like you know how some wire looms will have the wires like running flat with the valve cover. With this, we'll bring it up and tuck it in close to the valve cover and keep it along the side. I think it's a nicer look. Now, I will say, when I ordered these seemed like a pretty good item, but I had to go to Home Depot and get longer bolts. These are stainless steel. It's exactly what came in these. This is what came in them. You can see the difference in length. The reason why is because with these in here on the car, with my valve covers, on a standard stamped steel valve cover, this would be fine, and you can use this just the way it is. But on my application, because I have a thicker valve cover, because I have the aluminum Ford racing valve covers, it wouldn't clear. Like, it would barely just have any sticking through. By the time you get to the valve cover and the gasket, you barely have any sticking through. So I went to Home Depot and got these longer bolts. I think these are 2 inches long, and because I want to add about 1/4 of an inch to what these were. And if you want to know how to measure a bolt, in case you need to do the same application, in case you need to know, when you measure a bolt, you don't measure it from the head like this, because if you do, see, that would be like 2 1/4 if you look at it like that. Well, that's not right. You measure a bolt from the bottom of the head to the end of the bolt, and in this case, well, in this case, it's a 2-inch bolt. So this is a 2-inch bolt that I bought, and the originals were, that should make these originally 1 3/4. And there you go. Okay, so that's how you measure a bolt, in case you didn't know. I bought these ends to go on my wires. I'm going to cut these wires to fit because they're too long. I'm going to cut them to fit. I ordered these pliers off of Summit Racing. It's an Elderbrock an Elderbrock brand, and they're very nice. They're ratcheting, so they open up. You put your pieces in here. This is for the to crimp this piece onto the wire. It goes in here like that, and it crimps it down. It's got wire strippers there, so you can strip the wire like you need to. And I'll show you that. It's real easy. And this is for, these don't seem to really have it. Some of these will have, like, how these tabs are sticking up. Well, it'll have, like, smaller ears sticking up here for you to crimp the wire into. This don't really have it on this application. So we're going to do this one a little bit differently. But I'll show you how to do that if you have this style. It's not a big deal, not a problem. But these pliers, I think these are about $85 or so, I think. Not a bad price. You can get MSD ones for like $110, but it's the exact same plier. That's it. MSD is the exact same setup. They got the same crimping tool here, the same wire stripper, and the same crimping tool there. And they're ratcheting. It's the exact same. So this is Elderbrock instead of MSD. And it was like $20 cheaper. So I mean, is that right? Yeah. Yeah, like 20. It was $20 or $30 cheaper. I forget exactly. It was like 80 something for these. After taxes and all, it's probably like 90 or whatever, but 95. But point is, if you're going to do your own custom wires, I'd recommend picking up a set of these. Yeah, they're a little expensive, but they'll pay for themselves the first time you use them. And if you like to make your custom wires, it's perfect. You're also going to need, because I don't have a cutter, you're going to need something to cut the wire with. That's what I'm going to use, some diagonal cutters here. And that's it. So I'm going to get this set up, and I'll show you how to cut the wire and crimp the new piece on here and put your boots on and everything else. And we're going to set these up on the valve covers. Alright, so I went ahead and pulled the 6 bolts out that we need to put our loom holders in. So now what you want to do is get your spark plug wires, and we're going to go ahead and kind of mock them up, see where exactly they need to go and how they need to be cut. So like for instance, this one's a long one, so I would use it for one of the back ones. And I'm just going to kind of roughly put it in place of where I think it, you know, how I would want it to go. And also keep in mind your firing order. You don't want to cut your wires too short. This is, you know, once you cut them, that's it. You don't get another chance. So you cut them one time, you're done. On a 302, if you're dealing with a stock intake, because I have not changed the intake yet. The old Ford 60s and 70s Fords, maybe even the 80s, I'm not exactly 100% sure, but probably. The cast iron intakes have the firing order stamped in the intake. In this case, it's a 1543. Anyway, you can look at the intake. I can't read it from here. I don't know it right off by heart, but if you have an aftermarket intake, you can look it up online. You know, so no problem there. And anyway, so once you figure your firing order out, you know we're on cylinder number 4, the back one. So you know, 1's here. Your distributor cap is generally marked with a 1 to tell you where 1 is, but that's 1, 1, 5, 4. So that's the firing order, 1, 5, 4. We go 1, 5, 4. Okay, well, there's 4. So we know that this one's going to hook in right here, right? So, and anyway, so that's the basics of it. You want to keep that in mind when you're mocking these up to get them to where you want to cut them at. Just be aware of that. Alrighty, so now that I figured out where I'm going to cut it, I'll just kind of hold it with my finger. As long as you're in the general area, that's all you need. Once again, once you cut this, there's no going back, so make sure that when you cut it, it's where you want it. So we're going to cut it right around here in that area. You don't have to be, you know, just somewhere in there. Alright, now we got that. Now we got to strip the wire. So this is where these pliers are going to come in handy. So if you look in here, you see how that's made that way. Well, you don't stick the wire in like this. That's not what you want to do. Instead, you want to bring the wire in from this side, but you want to line it up with the edge there. Let's see if I can zoom. Get close. There you go. So you can see that you want to put it about roughly flush with the edge. You know, you don't have to be exactly perfect. Obviously, you can be a little bit out, but you do that like that, and then you crimp it down, just like so. Give it a little twist, and then it should pull right on off, just like that. And that strip the wire for you, and that will leave that sticking out. And actually, you know what? Since we're dealing with these type of connectors, I might actually strip more than that off, because what we're going to have to do, since this one don't really have that pinch part that I was telling you about, I guess you could pinch these over on it, but usually some of them have like tings that stick up and you can pinch it. What we're going to have to do in this case is we need to fold this wire like over like this, and when you fold it over, when you put this in here, it's going to be connected to the metal that way to conduct the electricity through the metal that way. So actually in this case, generally that's how you would do it, and then you would have that piece in here like I was telling you about. You put the wire in here, you crimp it down the wire, then you crimp this and you're done. But in this case, since it don't have that on them that I bought, we actually need to strip some more off of here. And so I'll probably strip about the same amount off again, roughly, you know, just give a little twist, you know, and pull it just like so. And this way we can fold the wire over like this. You see, give you an idea what I'm talking about. See, but like that, you know what I'm saying? And then when you put that piece on here, you put it where the wire will fold over like this, and it'll conduct the electricity through the metal that way, and it makes full contact. And then, so we're gonna do that. All right, so we're gonna get ready to crimp the end on there. And what I did is I pulled the end out of this boot to give you an example. That's exactly what they did from the manufacturer. You can see, if you look in here, there is no tabs to squeeze that wire like I'm telling you about. Like I was telling you about. See, they folded the wire over. That's literally all they did. They just folded it over and crimped the wire. So that's all you gotta do. So that's what we're gonna do. Take the wire, fold it over, you grab your piece and put it on here. And like I said, make sure the wire's at the bottom where you don't put it up like this. Put it down. Just like that. Get it on there, you know, about that far. And on these tabs, you may have to squeeze them a little bit before you put them in the pliers, just to kind of get to where the pliers will actually close up on it. And once you do that, grab our pliers, and you're going to line it up with the open ends on this W part. And get it in there just like that. Make sure everything's lined up like it's supposed to be. Look at everything. And then we're going to take it. So once you're satisfied with where it's at, matter of fact, yeah, all you got to do is have good coverage there. Just like that. That'll work. Take it. Once you got it in there like that, you want to make sure it's pretty even on both sides. Don't have the ends sticking out either side. And then you just squeeze this down. Let's see if I can show you how this works. Squeeze it down like so. And then open it up. And wow, that one actually did not do it the way it's supposed to do it. And unfortunately, this is that's not the way it's supposed to do it. That may work. It's still crimped on there. You know, truthfully, and it's still, like, I don't think it's going anywhere. I think that might be all right. But yeah, ordinarily it would do like this one here did, and that's what it's supposed to do. So I don't know what happened there. It might have been a flaw on my part. But yeah, we'll try the next one and see. All right, so when I was showing you earlier how that one was kind of a flaw, I don't know what exactly happened there, but you know, whatever it is, what it is. Sometimes it's just the way things go. I don't think it's going to be a problem because I can't pull it off. And that's what, just make sure you can't pull it off. It's on there tight. So now we're going to put our boot on. Just make sure your opening for where the end of the spark plug snaps on is lined up with this. And you can use a little bit of, you know, on the dielectric grease or some kind of a lubricant if you want to. But we're just going to push it in here just like this. And that's all you want to do. You just want to get it pushed all the way up until you see that piece lined up with the hole in there. And it's a tight fit, so you have to work on it a little bit, you know, to get it in there. Okay, so all right, I think I figured out the deal here. So we're gonna do like before. We're gonna strip this wire here. Like I said, you put it in here. And since we're going to have to fold it over, we're going to give extra, so probably about double what we would normally cut. Yeah. Probably about double. Put it in there, squeeze it, pull it apart, like so. And this is a really short wire. This is going to be for number 2 cylinder, so it ain't got very far to really to go. But we're going to fold the wire over, just like before. We're gonna get one of our ends, and actually what made this better is generally, like I was telling you before about how the tabs that crimp the wire, well, that's what this section of the jaws here are for. So what I did on the last one, which seemed to help, was put this in here and crimp it down anyway, even though there's no wire or nothing in here. Just take it like this and just crimp it. And that helps. It also closes this up a little bit. So when we put the wire on there, fold the wire under like so. Slide the spark plug wire in there, and this also helps hold it. And you get in there like so. And then you can take your pliers and put in here like we did before. Just like so, make sure it's even, like it's supposed to be. And then you start squeezing it. If you have to, you can move this around a little bit. And you can see it's a little bit better the way it operates. You just squeeze it all the way. And you can see it is a better look. It ain't quite as bad as it was. So it kind of gives it that W look more like it's supposed to. And it's snug on there, it's not going anywhere. And then what I've been doing to help get the boot on there, because it is a very tight fit. One thing you might could do is run the wire through here and up, and then attach it and pull it back through. Maybe that's a way that you would like to do it. What I've been doing is taking some WD-40 and just lightly spray the hole a little bit. Get some in there. And then you take this. And the WD-40 is still going to be tight. Like I said, make sure you line that up with the hole. And push it right on in there. And that's it, just force on up in there. Like I said, it is a tight fit, so make sure you take your time and push it up in there. And that's all there is to it for that. Alrighty, and this is what it looks like installed. I think it turned out really nice. It cleaned up the engine a lot, cleaned up the engine bay. Now you can see those Ford Racing valve covers really clear. And I like the way it turned out. And those blue spark plug wires really do pop. I like the way these looms turned out. You know, these are just loose, obviously, but it cleans it up really nice, makes it nice and uniform. I like these, the way they bolt to the valve cover. And I like how it gives it that just nice uniform look where it just forms around the valve cover. And it makes it look really nice and neat. If you are interested in these wire looms, you know, I would suggest picking some up. I can't remember exactly what they cost. Maybe $20, maybe. I don't even think they were that much, honestly. I want to say they were like $10. But they seem to be like a good quality, and I would recommend picking them up. And let's see if y'all are interested. You know, this is what it looks like. I'm not quite sure. Here we go. Sorry. So, any of those numbers you might need, that 50 number there is probably the part number. So if you want any of these here, you know, I would recommend picking them up. They turned out really well, and they kind of give you a little diagram there of how they work. But yeah, I'd pick them up. I got them off Summit Racing. Turned out really nice. I use my also. Don't forget, I'd pick up a set of these pliers. They make life so much easier when you want to customize your own spark plug wires. Trust me, they're really nice. And yeah, let me know what y'all think. And just so you can get an idea, here's a before and after picture. All right, so as you can see, we have you know, you've seen the before and after. We got that all cleaned up. I think it turned out really nice. It looks a whole lot better. Don't pay so much attention to the dirty valve covers and all. I got to clean them up, but you know, but the spark plug wires did make a big difference. And once I paint the engine black like I want to do, I think they'll really pop even some, really pop some more, because that blue will contrast with the black, you know, and all. Especially with those valve covers and everything, it's gonna look really good. Then when I change the intake, you know, that'll be an improvement, another improvement there. But yeah, I think it turned out great. Now, like I said, take your time on this. You know, I would, like I said before, I'd invest in those pliers. They make a world of difference. You can get done a whole lot faster. It's a better quality. I know they make the kind that go into a vise where you can just put it in the vise and squeeze it to crimp the things, and they work. It's better than nothing. But I wouldn't recommend going the cheap route. Just spend the money, and especially if you plan on doing this, if you plan on working on your car a lot and you want to do, and you can do this to any vehicle, you know, it don't have to be just your classic you have in the garage, perhaps your everyday driver or whatever you got. You could do this if you want to customize the wires on it as well, if you wanted to. I'd recommend spending money because they pay for themselves the first time you use them. Let me tell you, they were like $85 or so, but I'm telling you, I'm glad I had them. So I would recommend picking those up, and they got other brand too, but the Elder Brock just seemed the better deal because they do the exact same thing the MSD ones did or do for a cheaper price. So, and like I said, I'm not going to use them all the time, but they pay for themselves the first time you use them, and they help me out a lot. Also, you're putting the boot on, you're gonna have to, your fingers will get sore, so be prepared for that. But just work with it. Use a little bit of WD-40 or whatever to help lubricate it. It'll slide right in there. It's not a big problem. And yeah, so that's about it. I think it turned out great. Like I said, comment down below and let me know what y'all think. Did y'all like how they turned out? Is this something you would consider doing to your car? And if so, let me know. I like to hear it. Let me know what kind of car y'all work on. Let me know what your car is, and what, if you're planning on getting these. They also have the kind where instead of being parallel with the valve cover, you can get them like laying flat. I didn't like those, but they got them too. So that's another thing you can look into if you want to. They got chrome ones, or plastic, whichever one you want. If I was gonna go that route, I'd probably do chrome, maybe, But then again, I like being able to see the wires in a nice uniform straight line. I think they look good, so I don't know. But I like that setup better. It just looks cleaner, in my opinion. So, but yeah, let me know. Hit the like button if you like the video, and subscribe if you have not already subscribed. I appreciate it. And as always, thank y'all for watching. And y'all have a good night.